Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays, yes 3 you lucky people. You get to see 3 replays in the best tier 7 heavy you have ever seen. It's speed, it's excitement, it's absolute thrill riding joy of a tank that is the tier 7 British heavy tank, the Black Prince. Now if you haven't guessed by the title of the video, of course, it's the third mod video for the Black Prince. Now, obviously, this is a tank that is looked at by pretty much everybody as being absolutely bloody awful. And would I back up that assessment? A little bit. I wouldn't say it's awful. I'd say it's slow. And that's its problem. The problem lies with this tank in the fact that it's slow. Because I think it's probably tainted, to be honest, by the fact that it used to be absolutely god-awful, but then they made some changes to it. So, for instance, they buffed the armour. You might be going, they buffed the armour? What? Well, they buffed a slight weakness in the armour, and that's the fact that whenever this thing got tracked, it would generally get penned. If you got shot frontally on from the drive wheel, it'd get penned. It still happens every now and then, but it used to be every time. Nowadays, not so much. That and the pen. The pen of the gun used to be 171, 239 I think on the premium. Now it's 200 standard pen. That means you can do so much. You don't have to rely on the premium rounds. And that's a fantastic thing, generally. Just knowing that you can pen pretty much everything with your standard rounds is great. Obviously, the biggest problem with it is how slow it is. So you really, to maximise what you want to do in this tank, you've really got to put yourself in the right place. And that is a big thing about the tank. You have to be in the right spot to do the damage. Otherwise, games get away from you incredibly quickly. Which is why I didn't trundle down the 1-2 line in this game in Abbey. Because otherwise, if their team hadn't gone down the heavy tank flank, I probably would have found no one, and then my team would have either got crushed or we'd have crushed them. So I've loaded APCR for this T69 because even though, like I was saying about the AP being quite good, it still struggles with the T69 frontally because for some reason I've had too many experiences where I ricochet off that bloody turret that it has, and you're like, wait, how did I just ricochet that? But we bully him anyway, we set him on fire, he gets wrecked, and we're like, oh no, Centurion's YOLOing me. Wait. There's something fishy about this guy. Oh, he's got a stock turret. He's got my gun. Oh, lol. Well, he's not got my gun, he's got the comic gun, hasn't he? Which will struggle to pen me. And we've got a comparable rate of fire. So, we're now just going to bully the stock tank. Goodbye. And just like we've got 3k damage, like that's exactly what we needed for pushing this gun mark up. And like I say, it is all about where you put yourself. If you put yourself in a place where you're going to bump into the most things, like the centre of the map on Abbey, which is pretty sheltered for the most part, isn't it really? Because I can take this middle bit and then basically sit here and laugh, because I can get 3 shots across at anyone. Like this Dragon attacking my base, which some terrible shooting means he gets away. He's trying to do God's work though, so I mean I commend his efforts. So we're going to give up on that guy. We're going to push over here now to see if we can get any shots into their base, because obviously there's going to be camping TDs, there always is. So we're going to see if there is any that we can get spotted. But then this T29 gets spotted and it's like, we'll see if we can get a shot at him as he crosses. Which we try, but we hit his tracks and unfortunately don't damage him. And then, because that is another thing about this tank, the shell velocity. The shell velocity isn't great. So when they are quite far away like that, you don't often get chance really to... Well, when you're that far away, you've got to really follow, you've got to really lead it quite well. Otherwise you don't get the chance to keep damaging them, because the shell velocity kind of loops it a little bit and then you don't get the chance to get the damage. And unfortunately in this game, capping is for winners. So we could have probably farmed quite a lot on that Diamondback if he just got into the cap a second later, but hey ho. That was a nice game for the tank. 3.1k damage, 1600 base. It was only first class, but it was one that sums up the tank really of getting into the right place at the right time. So we're on to the second game on Sevragorsk. And we want to basically get ourselves in again in the right place to try and get the damage. Now obviously that when you're going for a third mark on a tank, going to put yourself in the right place to get the damage is obviously something you always want to do in every tank. But there's a hell of a lot of tanks where you can make pushes to flanks that are aggressive, but also sort of 50-50 as to whether it could come off. But if they've got the speed, they can then, if that flank doesn't work, they can then push themselves really quickly and get over to the other side where the damage is. In a Black Prince, or something like that OI, never going to happen. If you go down this 2 line and everything's on the 0 line, the chances are you're not going to get much done. And that's because you're just not going to get back. So we're going to the middle on Icebound. Now, this is a map I detest, and it's mainly because of the snow bumps. But for a tank like the Black Prince, it doesn't really matter. Because the snow bumps don't really throw you off, because you've not got any speed for it to flip you like it does light tanks. Also, the way this town is designed is god-awful. Just, it's like people come out of the blue from everywhere, and then for some reason people have shots all down the corridors. It's weird. It's just a map that I'm not a fan of, and the fact that artillery can hit you in so many places in this town as well. The fact that you're just not covered from them at all, it's pretty painful. So right now we've not done any shots of damage yet, but there's the first one into the Thunderbolt. This is what we want. We're trying to aim for the low clip, but then again I've got 200 pens, so I should just butter the Thunderbolt really. We've crossed the road where there's a TD obviously sitting, and we got tapped, but we've shut down the Thunderbolt. We've got a bit of awkwardness here, but that KV1 is what we want. Now this is great matchmaking, because obviously we get tanks like the KV1, and we're just going to laugh at them for the most part, because I mean, what can this guy do? He can't pen me. I can easily pen him. Now I thought he was actually going to die then to the KV1, so I looked away for a split second, but he didn't get shot, and it was like, oh okay, I'll finish him then. And we'll come around the corner, we're going to finish off that easy 8, and we're now going to push down this little alleyway here, because we know there's a TD and there was something else, a heavy tank I think at the bottom. Yeah, there's the Object 244, he's going to struggle with us unless he loads Prem. We're not going to really struggle with him all that much if we aim properly. And we're just going to completely wreck him. And this is exactly what we want. Now, the base is being capped, but frankly, at the end of the day, right, I'm not getting back. There is no hope of... There's loads of people that are close to that cap, right, that could probably go back and reset it, and that's what's happened. I'm not worried about that cap. I'm just now thinking I need to push out as much damage as I can in this time before they actually probably cap, because I'm not getting back, and I've got people at my back. Well, I've got people at my front that if I went back to the cap, they would be at my back, and I would get I'd get farmed, which would be the unfortunate point. And the KV-85, when he came around the corner earlier as well, annoyingly broke my armor rack, which is not what I need. But we're managing to swivel. So like when I bounced that 244, I knew he wasn't going to fire again. I knew the KV-85 was coming out for me, which is why I swiveled back for him and bounced him. And I know that I can farm this guy. I just need to get the shots in. So obviously we get a nice tracking shot. We're just keeping ourselves a little bit angled. I am a bit worried about the artillery, which just missed. But we get a nice bit of tracking on him, on this KV-85, and we'll get to basically shut him down. We're up to 4 kills, 2.6k damage. We're probably nearly 3k assistant, well 3k combined, sorry. Which is solid. It's what we want. But now we've got to go back. And that base is a worry. We're not going to get back. If they decide to cap, there's no hope of getting back. Like I say, with those guys that were at our front, if I'd turned around to get the base, to go back to the base, they would have shot me in the butt, and they would have farmed me. So therefore I wouldn't have got back, unfortunately. Because they'd have still killed me, and it would have been a waste. So I had to focus on getting the damage where I could and farm them. And we're really hoping now, though, that we can get to these guys before they cap, because we want the damage. So we get a nice shot through the T-34. We're now getting shot in the butt again, which seems to happen today. We've shot the T-23E3, we've shot him down. We're on to 5 kills. We're now going, oh my god, please just give me the top gun, and there we go. And we get dreadnoughted. But we've got the top gun, and the game's over anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we ended that game with 3k, 6 kills, and 323 assistants. So it was not a bad result for the mark. Obviously, you'd have liked to have won, but just the way that game was going, it wasn't great. And that puts us on 94%. So I think there's another game that we had in between this one and the next one. But that put us up to like 94.5. And then, yeah, so like I say, you've got to put yourself in the right place to get the damage of the Black Prince. And you've got to basically just keep farming everything that's in front of you. And I think that's the key. Because you don't want to keep flicking attention between tanks. Once you start attacking one, you've got to take it down. Because, I mean, that's the one thing with this tank, is it's got a good rate of fire. It may not do the most damage with its shots, say like the Russian IS, KV-3, T-29, the T-29, the Bear, all the stuff with, like, 320, 390, all that sort of stuff. They all slap people for 390 in one shot. You only do 150. So you've got to keep popping shots at people. You can't just pop one and pull back. You've got to make sure you put at least 2 to 3 into people. Now, in this game then on Kunas, did you see that shell that hit us? We got hit by we got hit for half of our health by an M44 firing heat. Now that worries me in this game, because he hit me just that shot. I don't know how or why that happened. Because he couldn't have been very well aimed. I wasn't spotted for very long. I literally just got shot by him, and he hit me and pinned me. So that worries me. So I was going to go down south. But then I changed my mind. Because that's going to be in the kill zone of the M44. Now that thing is a little terror. Because it's got a great rate of fire. It's got good accuracy. It's got great aim time for a T6i. And the HE's dangerous, but the thing flings 250 heat pen, and that just seems to wreck you very hard very quickly. So we've come over here so we can try and farm the camping TDs, keep this hill to my left, so that hopefully I won't get farmed by the M44. So we've got the APCR in because we saw the ISM, which we are never going to put. Well, he's got a stock turret, okay, but if I end up firing the AP at his turret and it stopped, I've had too many times where it bounced, and by this point I'm also sick of playing the Black Prince, not going to lie. So I just loaded APCR because I was like, I'm going to make quick work of this bloody ISM, we're going to get rid of it. And we did, and we got a nice shot into the Centurion. He unfortunately gets away. There's a Churchill game carrier, everyone, that we can't let that live. Sorry, game carrier. He would carry the game, I'm telling you. But anyway, he's gone. We've got this SU-100M1 in front of us. He's being YOLO'd, I think. Yeah, he's been YOLO'd by a light tank. He shuts down the light tank, but we're trying to get justice for him, but unfortunately we can't. I mean, we're up to 1,800, 1,900 combined now, which is enough for us to not drop. Which is obviously something I was pretty scared of when I got tapped by the arty, because I got tapped by the arty and immediately lost my health in the first seconds, which is a scary thing. We got kind of lucky not to get killed by the Dreadnought, not gonna lie, or at least hurt significantly. And that's what I'm talking about with the armour changes that they did to it. It makes it so it's a bit more durable. We shut down the IS and then the KV-3. We're up to 2.7. I'm now thinking, you know what? As much as their team's crumbled, I think we've got it. I think we've pretty much got it. And we're just going to have to charge now to see if we can... I say charge. Okay, I say charge in the sense of charging in a Black Prince towards the enemy team. But they're getting wrecked. So the likelihood, I'm sitting here going, the likelihood of me getting damage here is minimal. But at the same time, I could get at least a shot or two into this Dreadnought if he decided to leave his house. But, I say, I'm at 94.5, 94.6, and I know that 3k in this tank will probably do it. And as you can see, I do the Victory Black Prince looking. 2 marks on the barrel, that's the last time we'll see that. Boom, 3 marks. So it's like, yeah, 3.1k combined. I knew that was enough to go up probably about 0.5, 0.6. It's even more than that, it's about 0.8. So on the whole, it wasn't too bad to 3 mark in the end, the Black Prince. I did enjoy it for the most part, but I was kind of looking forward to moving on to the Carnarvon and then the Conqueror. So I was getting a little bit sick of it by the end of it, because it's slow. That's its main problem. But on the whole, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as people give it. So, as always, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.